Let us come for a few moments into an atmosphere of meditation and at the same time keep our feet on the ground. Why keep our feet on the ground? Because the Word must become flesh. If our realization of love does not clothe itself in the garments of our daily disputes and public arguments, it remains a dream. And we are not here to dream. We are here to behold God's government where we stand. So let us stand quietly and listen. Justice heals when judgment stops. Try seeing before fixing. You and I know the reflex of the human scene. There is a flash on the screen, a headline, a word spoken out of season. Outrage rises. Verdict forms. Penalty follows. We are swift, we are sure, we are certain. But then we must ask with honest hearts, did the wound close? Did the heart soften? Did the separation end? Or did we place another brick in the wall that divides brother from brother? For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. We have tried wrath, we have tried penalty as if it were sacrament, and still the ache remains. So we pause. In that pause, a new light dawns. Appearances are neither good nor evil. This is not to approve what is wrong, nor to excuse harm. It is to withdraw our assignment of reality to the picture. A video clip is neither good nor evil. A broken window is neither good nor evil. A heated word, a cold silence, neither good nor evil. In what sense? In the sense that good is invisible. Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is, God. If we place goodness in the form, we will lose it when the form changes. If we place goodness in the invisible that constitutes being, we will find it where appearances are least promising. So our first act of justice is abstinence from judging according to sight. Judge not that ye be not judged is not a moral slogan, it is a spiritual technology. In the very instant the mind ceases grasping at blame, the presence has room to act. Be still and know that I am God. Be still in the court of your own thought. Be still when the tongue would pronounce sentence. Be still and watch how the next step arises not from fury, but from quiet guidance. I can of mine own self do nothing, said the Master, and then he could do all that the Father was doing through him. So it is with justice. God's justice restores, revenge isolates. God's justice reveals identity. Retaliation cements roles. God's justice binds up the broken. Payback multiplies the broken pieces. We are not speaking of two worlds, but two concepts of the same world, one seen through judgment and one through love. When judgment rules, we see labels and masks. We meet personas. When love is allowed to govern perception, we behold a person without qualities, the Christ of God, where a sinner had seemed to stand. Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. There is the pattern. Non-condemnation first, transformation next. The Word becomes flesh in the very place where stones were already in hands. The atmosphere changed, and so did the life. Let us be very practical. This justice begins in the instant you refuse to move from outrage to verdict, and instead move from outrage to silence. In that silence, something living speaks. It may say, wait. It may say, ask a question. It may say, set a boundary with gentleness. It may say, make an amends. It may say, invite one. But you will know that it is not your private heat, because it will carry peace on its face. It will seek repair, not exhibition. It will remember that behind every act is a soul starving for recognition, and it will feed that hunger even while correcting the harm. The presence that goes before you will make the crooked places straight if you will let it go before you. So here is our thesis and our practice. Justice heals when judgment stops. Try seeing before fixing. Suspend the verdict even for a breath and watch the invisible good come forward to name the next honest step. We will walk this way together, feet on the ground, heart in God, until the very places of our conflict become the proof that the Word has become flesh. Now let us look at punishment, not to condemn it, but to understand why it fails to heal. Punishment addresses the picture. It strikes at behavior. It says, this thing that appeared must be corrected, restrained, paid for. And in the human sense, there is a place for restraint and for making safe. But hear this. When we attack behavior without beholding identity, we drive the mask deeper into the face. Shame cements the persona. The offender begins to believe the part he was playing. The community begins to believe it too. A role is written, and the actor is trapped in it. The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. The letter of penalty can press a man into temporary compliance. It cannot release him into himself. And so the behavior may pause for a season, and yet the sense of being unworthy, unloved, unreconciled festers, and out of that festering comes the next scene in the same play. Why is it so? Because we misplace good. We say, this man did a good deed, he is good. This man did an evil deed, he is evil. But the Master said, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. Good is not in the person nor the act. Good is the invisible presence that constitutes being. When we ascribe goodness to the form, we will mourn as if goodness itself were lost when the form fails. And in our grief we strike. We seek revenge to reclaim the good we imagine was taken from us. But revenge cannot restore what was never in the form to begin with. We are trying to stuff spirit back into a behavior. It cannot be done. The moment we transfer value back to the invisible, back to the Father within, as the life of all, we are no longer compelled to make examples of one another. We are free to make room. Consider how force behaves. Force compels, intimidates, isolates. It produces motion without meaning. It yields quick trophies, apologies extracted, fines paid, a cell door shut, and yet where is the fruit? By their fruits ye shall know them. Fruitage is not what force can show in an afternoon. Fruitage is the quiet coherence that rises when the inner life is touched by love. Force can shut a mouth. Love can open a heart. Force may get a rule observed. Love births a new nature. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformation is not born of retaliation. It is born when identity is remembered and shame has no soil in which to root. Now, let me tell you something. You have seen 100 times, though the names change. A boy, let us call him Eli, tags the side of the grocer's wall with a spray can. The town fumes. The penalty is swift, public shaming, a photo on the forum, a ban from the store. He pays, he hides, he hardens. It is written over him now in letters bolder than his paint, delinquent. A year passes, another wall, another ban. The mask is set, the boy is playing his part. Then one morning, an old man who owns the shop next door catches him, not with a rope, but with a question. What were you trying to say? Eli shrugs. The old man listens. No judgment in the room. You have an eye, the man says. Would you paint my shutter with me? But you'll clean this wall first. They scrub, they paint a shutter. The town calls it soft, but watch the fruit. The boy returns again and again to paint, then to sweep, then to serve. A small stipend appears. School opens a pathway in graphic design. Did consequences vanish? No. The wall was cleaned, a boundary named, a task given, but the movement was not revenge, it was recognition. The man beheld a person without qualities, and in that beholding a different justice took flesh. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. This is not sentiment, it is law in the spirit. Revenge multiplies separation. It says there must be winners and losers, and then it ensures that both sides lose their brother. Love restores coherence. It says there is one life here, one source, that they all may be one. Justice, that is, love, seeks wholeness. It does not deny harm. It answers harm with a remedy that touches identity. It secures the vulnerable, yes. It repairs the breach, yes. And it refuses to curse the person. Mercy rejoiceth against judgment. That is not laxity, that is power. For when mercy reigns, shame withers, and with shame gone, the role can fall from the actor's face like a discarded mask. We can keep our feet on the ground in all this. A workplace violation occurs. You must guard the team. Do so firmly and do so free of spite. Pause, turn within. Ask, what would heal the fabric here? Perhaps a suspension with a path of amends. Perhaps a mediated conversation to hear impact and to name needs. Perhaps a new assignment that honors true capacity. These are not indulgences, they are embodiments. The word becomes flesh when we treat persons as persons and refuse to enthrone the offense as their identity. Then you will see something you cannot coerce, the desire to make it right arising from within them. And when that arises, you have justice in seed and in bloom, the kind that doesn't need a poster because it has become a life. Let us take something very ordinary in our day, very modern, and at the same time keep our feet on the ground. A clip appears, a crowded train car, evening light, a seat dispute that becomes a shouting match, or if you like, an office corridor, a supervisor's face tight with strain, a young employee late, a phone lifted to capture the scene. The video is 30 seconds. It flies like seed on the wind. In an hour there are 1 million views, 1,000 verdicts, and a sentence pronounced by faces we will never meet. You have seen this. I have seen this. It is the liturgy of the age. Cameras raised as stones in the hand. Now, the first viewing. The eye judges according to appearance. It is swift, villain, hero, fire him, cancel her. This is our human reflex. And why? Because we believe the picture is the person, the frame is the life, the mask is the face. The gavel falls inside us, and with it a little jolt of certainty. Ah, now good and evil are clear again. And then we must ask the honest question we have already asked tonight. Did anything heal? Did the heart of the one who shouted change its tune? Did the soul of the one shamed become safe? Or did we add one more layer of fear to a nervous system already running on fumes? For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. We have our trophies, shares, comments, a job lost perhaps, but where is the fruit? By their fruits ye shall know them. The fruit here is separation, and the tree that bears it is judgment. Let us now see the same clip a second time, not with new facts, with a new eye. Be still and know that I am God. Before the second viewing, be still. 10 seconds will do. Judge not that ye be not judged. Withdraw the labels. Say within yourself, this picture is neither good nor evil. In what sense? In the sense that the good is not contained in the pixels nor the sound. The good is invisible God as the life of all who appear here. Now press play again and behold not a villain and a victim, not a hero and a fool, but a person without qualities, a man without the mask of bully, a woman without the mask of shrill, a supervisor without the mask of tyrant, an employee without the mask of slacker. Just a person as you are a person, as I am a person, one life constituted of God. Watch what happens in you. The jaw unclenches, the breath returns, The nervous system, which was arming for battle, stands down. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. A single eye does not split the scene into camps. It beholds one source, and in that light options appear that heat conceals. You begin to ask, not how can we punish, but what pain is speaking, what fear is pleading for safety, what hunger is trying clumsily to be fed. Perhaps that supervisor's mother is in the hospital and last night there was no sleep. Perhaps that employee is riding 3 buses from a shelter and arrived breathless. Perhaps the rider on the train has just learned of a layoff or a diagnosis or a betrayal. None of this excuses harm. All of it humanizes the mask. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He spoke of personas, not of the Son. He released identity from the act, and so can we. And now, because we are keeping our feet on the ground, let us see how a different I becomes a different justice. Instead of posting the clip with a curse, we ask, is there a way to secure those harmed and also invite repair? A company, seeing the same footage, may hold a firm boundary and at the same time offer a path of amends, a mediated conversation, a training joined to supervision that dignifies rather than degrades. A transit authority may say, this behavior is not safe, and also say, here is a circle where impact is voiced, needs are named, restitution is planned. A bystander may choose a soft word in the moment, friend, can I swap seats with you? For a soft answer turneth away wrath. A viewer may refrain from the pile-on and instead hold a quiet prayer. Let the presence that goes before make the crooked places straight. This is not passivity. This is allowing the Word to become flesh in the very current of public life. Try a small experiment. The next time your finger hovers over post, stop everything for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is not a long time, and yet it is enough to change the world you are about to make with your word. Place a hand upon your heart, if you like, and say within, I, my own self, can do nothing. Then ask, Father, what would you have me see here? What would heal? Wait. Feel the heat subside like a wave finding shore. Feel the mind widen. Notice how, in that small stillness, consequences can be firm without being cruel. Truth can be spoken without scorn. Care for the vulnerable can be joined to compassion for the one who failed. Then act, or do not act, but let the act be born of peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. How we see dictates what justice becomes next. Condemnation narrows to one tool, punish. Non-judgment opens a toolkit you did not know you had: protect, inquire, restore, reconcile. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. There is an eye that frees and then guides. Practice that eye on the next clip that visits your screen. And watch how the public square, which seemed only a court of scorn, can become an altar where the presence proves itself quietly as love that heals. Now let us bring this home where life is actually lived and keep our feet on the ground. The Word must become flesh in conflict, not in a monastery alone, not in a poetry book, but at the returns counter, in traffic, at the family table. If it does not take on form there, we are living in 2 concepts of the same universe, one we contemplate and one we endure. We are not here to endure one world and admire another. We are here to let the invisible good become visible, right where friction seems to be. And so we ask, how does the Word become flesh in the very heat of dispute? It becomes flesh the way the Master taught it to become flesh. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. In the instant a conflict presents itself, stop short inside. One breath will do. Be still and know that I am God. You hear the rhythm? Stop, be still, acknowledge the presence. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Do not hurry to manufacture the clever phrase, the defense, the threat. Take no thought, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Let the next word be given. Let the presence that goes before you make the crooked places straight while you remain inwardly quiet, available, unarmed. Try it at the returns counter. You have a receipt and a frayed sweater. The clerk is new. The line is long. The sign says no returns after 30 days. You feel the heat rise. 100 arguments form. Stop everything within one breath. I, my own self, can do nothing. Behold, not a policy and a foe, but a person without qualities, the same life you are. Then speak as given, perhaps simply, I'm in a bind. Can you help me find what's fair? Watch what appears when you do not demand, but you do not disappear. Very often a manager comes, a policy is clarified, an exception found, or a repair offered that is better than the refund you are seeking. Calm faces, clarified facts, a creative remedy. That is the signature. By their fruits ye shall know them. The fruit of inner realization is not triumph, it is harmony. Try it in traffic. A car cuts you off. The horn is in your hand. Your pulse hammers. Stop within. Peace, be still, give space. Let the presence go before you sometimes. Quite literally, a lane opens, a gap appears, the curve clears. You may see a hand lifted in apology you would never have received under your blast. Or you may see no sign at all and still find that your own body has returned to sanity, and the child in the back seat has learned the gospel through your quiet wheel better than through your finest homily. You will feel it, no victory won, no defeat swallowed, simply order restored, crooked places made straight without the theater of rage. Try it at the family table. An old grievance is raised with fresh salt. You know this path. It has ruts. Stop short. Judge not. Behold the loved one minus the long ledger. Ask within, what would heal? Perhaps the word given is an acknowledgement you have withheld. I see how that hurt you. Perhaps it is a boundary spoken without poison. I want us to speak of this, but not as we have. Can we set a time tomorrow after we both rest? Perhaps it is a small deed, standing to clear plates together, a gesture of servanthood that disarms, and watch the fruits' voices lower, facts surface, that change the story, a step toward amends that would never have been coerced by accusation. Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Non-condemnation in the atmosphere, transformation in the conduct. Do not mistake this for passivity. Love-led justice does not abdicate. It incarnates. If someone is being harmed, you act, and you act from within. Separate the parties, call for help, say the firm no, and all the while refuse the inner theater of enemy making. You will find that the same presence that quiets your temper will furnish very concrete steps: where to stand, whom to call, what words to use that are exact without being cruel. Consequences may still be necessary. Let them be shaped as remedies, not as trophies. Mercy rejoiceth against judgment, and mercy, when it rules, gives backbone, not weakness. And so we keep our feet on the ground. The returns counter, the roadway, the family table, these are neither sacred nor profane. They are altars. As soon as you stop, turn within, and allow the invisible to clothe itself in speech, in timing, in deed. You will know it by its fruits: calm faces, clarified facts, creative remedies. Justice is real when inner realization expresses as tangible harmony in the very place of conflict. Let the presence go before you. Let it give you the next word, and watch the word become flesh where yesterday there was only heat. If the Word is to become flesh in conflict, it must first become sight in us, sight that refuses the mask and beholds the person without qualities. Persona is a mask. You know that. It is the part we or others have handed us: bully, victim, thief, saint, and under the pressure of praise or blame, we learn to hold it tight. But a role is not a life. An actor may play Macbeth and leave the theater unbloodied. So it is with us. What you and I are, in truth, is not the role, not the visible conduct, not the temperament of an hour. What we are is the life the Father is being as us. All that the Father hath is mine. Hear that, not as a boast, but as identity. I and you live by one life, and it is holy. When we see this in another, judgment falls from our hands as easily as it falls from our own. And in that atmosphere, the person is freed to be the person. This is the release we owe each other. Withdraw praise and withdraw blame. Why withdraw praise? Because praise fastens the mask as surely as condemnation does. Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is, God. If we say of a man, he is good because of his fine deeds, we have laid a burden upon him to perform goodness tomorrow, or forfeit himself. If we say of a woman, she is evil because of her wrong deed, we have entombed her in yesterday's hour and barred the door. Let us then release one another from being good or evil in human appraisal, and behold instead the good that is invisible, the Father within, as the essence of this life. Then we can be gentle with failure and modest with success, and the pressure to play a part begins to dissolve. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The truth is identity, not reputation. Neither do I condemn thee. These are not lax words, they are creating words. They create the atmosphere in which go and sin no more becomes possible. Condemnation never converted a heart, it only taught it to hide. Recognition converts. When the Christ in you beholds the Christ in the other, something stirs that no lecture can produce. The mask slips. The one before you senses, perhaps for the first time that day, I am being seen as I am, not as I seem. And from that recognition, guidance becomes simple and strong. Keep your feet on the ground and watch it work. A shoplifter is stopped at the door, a boy with earbuds, a woman with baby formula, an old man with shaking hands and a pocketed razor. Policies exist. You must keep the store safe. Do so. And then, before you speak, stop short within. I, my own self, can do nothing. Turn to the presence. Behold not a type, not a docket number, not they always do this, but a person without qualities. Let the first word be human, friend, or come sit a moment. Ask quietly, what would restore your dignity here? Do you hear the shift? Not how shall we punish, but how shall we make you whole enough to make this right? Perhaps it is paying what was taken, if they can. Perhaps it is a simple meal and a plan. Perhaps it is cleaning a shelf, writing a letter of amends to the clerk who felt afraid, meeting in a circle where impact is heard and a way forward agreed. Firm, yes. Clear, yes. But the movement is from recognition, not from scorn. Very often you will see shame yield to honesty, and honesty open to responsibility. The presence that goes before you will make the crooked places straight, and the remedy you could not have scripted appears in due order. We owe this beholding to one another. As ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. To behold the Christ as the other's identity is not piety. It is justice at its root. It is how love becomes structure without becoming stone. When you refuse to see a thief and insist upon seeing a son, when you refuse to see a gossip and insist upon seeing a daughter, you do not deny the harm, you deny the mask, the right to define the person, and in that denial there is great power. It unlocks restorative possibilities that judgment forbids, apologies that are not coerced, restitution that is not staged, boundaries that are honored because they arise from shared dignity rather than fear. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Let us practice that single eye and watch light take form where labels once ruled. Let us be very simple, because in the heat, simplicity is salvation. In a hot moment, when voices rise, when the pulse hammers, when the old scripts rush in, stop short, breathe once slowly, as if drawing the air from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Inwardly acknowledge, Father, thou doest the works. Or, if you prefer the Master's phrasing, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. That is not passivity, that is permission. You are permitting the presence to go before you and make the crooked places straight while your mind lays down its weapons. Be still and know that I am God. 10 seconds of stillness will alter the next 10 minutes more than 10 sharp sentences ever could. Then ask silently, without strain, almost as a whisper inside, what is mine to be or say that restores? Not what wins, not how do I prove, what restores. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally. Ask and wait 10 to 30 seconds. It is a long time only to the nervous system that has been used to striking first. In that little Sabbath of the tongue, you will notice something like a feather touch of first gentle, non-reactive impulse. It is rarely a lecture. It is often a question, or a simple acknowledgement, or a boundary without poison. Take no thought what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Let it be given. Then follow it, one step, not the whole staircase. Try this in a parent-teen standoff. The clock says midnight. The rule was 10. The door opens. The look on your face wants to be judge and jury. Stop everything inside. Breathe. Father, thou doest the works. Ask, what would restore? Wait those few seconds. You may find your first word is not accusation, but care. Are you safe? You may hear yourself say, come sit, tell me the whole of it. When the story surfaces, a late bus, a frozen phone, a foolish choice and fear do not crown the mask. Behold the person without quality sitting before you, and then shape consequences as remedies, not as trophies. Perhaps the phone rests with you for a week. Perhaps travel plans are adjusted. Perhaps an amends is made to a sibling left worried. But notice the fruitage when the first word is gentleness. The shoulders drop, truth replaces half-truth, and the desire to make it right arises from within them. Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. That atmosphere makes the second half possible. Try it in a customer dispute. A man at your counter is heated, the line is long, policy is not on your side. The mind arms, the script loads. Stop within one breath. I, my own self, can do nothing. Ask, what restores? The question may come, help me understand what would feel fair here. Or a pairing, I want to help, and I need us both to lower our voices to do that. Often you will find a precise step you did not know was available, a repair instead of a refund, an exchange that keeps the business solvent, a promise with a time certain, or, when rudeness crosses the line, a firm boundary spoken without venom. Sir, I will help, and we will pause until we can speak respectfully. Watch the fruitage. The temperature drops a degree. A soft answer turns away rare. Facts appear that were hiding behind volume. Try it in a team conflict. Two colleagues have collided. Emails have grown sharp. The project is wobbling. As a leader, your instinct may be to declare sides. Instead, pause. Be still and know. Ask, what restores the fabric? The given step may be a circle with a simple frame, each name's impact, each name's needs, and a plan of amends and forward rolls is agreed. It may be as concrete as reassigning a task for a week while training occurs, or inviting one to draft a standard they have been insisting on so loudly. You will know it by its peace. The noise subsides enough for responsibility to emerge without humiliation. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Track the fruitage. This practice does not promise fireworks, it yields signatures. The room's temperature lowers. The breath comes back, eyes soften. Unexpected honesty appears in the very mouth that was spitting sparks. A next right step comes into view, often small, always human. Boundaries, when given, are heard as care for the whole, not as the lash. By their fruits ye shall know them. If after your pause the fruit is contempt, you have not waited long enough. If the fruit is quiet, courage, and workable steps, the presence has gone before you. Do not skip the wait. 10 to 30 seconds is seed time. To rush is to harvest stones. If nothing clear comes, it is holy to say, let us take 20 minutes, or may we speak tomorrow at 9. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. You are not delaying to avoid, you are making room for the Word to become flesh in the exact form needed. And if in the interval you keep the single eye, no villain, no hero, just persons, the answer that was not in your inventory will arrive as if on quiet feet. So here is your protocol when the heat rises. Stop, breathe, acknowledge, ask, wait, follow, and then review the fruitage. Practice it in small things, and it will be there in large ones. Guidance for justice does not rise from reactivity. It arises from within when you have given the Father within the floor. Then the presence that goes before you makes the crooked places straight, and your words and deeds ordinary, timely, precise, become the proof that love governs even here. Let us be very simple now, because the Word must become flesh in a way you can carry into Tuesday afternoon. Restorative justice is structured love. It is not vague warmth, and it is not soft chaos. It is 4 movements you can learn to trust: see, secure, seek, serve. They arrive in order, and they make order where there has been heat. They are neither sentimental nor severe. They are firm and healing at once. First, see. Before a word is spoken, withdraw judgment from the field. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Pause, turn within. I, my own self, can do nothing. Let the labels fall. Thief, liar, victim, boss. Behold a person without qualities, the Christ identity where a role seemed to stand. Say nothing until you can feel within yourself that the picture before you is neither good nor evil, that good is invisible and must be allowed to surface. Often one sentence will set the tone, not as a technique, but as a truth from your heart. I won't shame you. I am here to restore. Let's find what makes this right. You have opened the gate. The presence that goes before you will do more in that atmosphere than a library of policies could do under judgment. Second, secure. Love names boundaries without hate. Protect the vulnerable. Bring quiet to the room. Separate if necessary. A soft answer turneth away wrath, and yet a soft answer can speak a firm no. You might say, we are going to slow down. No one will be harmed here. We will hear everyone, but we will not shout. If property must be returned, have it returned. If a door must be closed for the moment, close it. Dignity is safety in the spirit. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. You are making green space where the soul can be restored because the storm has been calm. Feel for the peace that signals the next movement. You are not hurrying, you are shepherding. Third, seek. Not information for a prosecution, but truth for a remedy. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, ask restoring questions, and then listen past the words to the life trying to be recognized. What happened? What were you trying to secure for yourself? Who was affected and how? What do you need to own? What would restore your dignity enough to repair what you can repair? Come now and let us reason together, not to argue, but to find the line where honesty and hope meet. Remember, you are not manufacturing answers. You are letting them be drawn out of identity. Take no thought, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. The right question will be given, and you will feel it by the softening it brings. Fourth, serve. Co-create a remedy that honors all. This is where love takes on structure, dates, tasks, restitution, reconnection, and when needed, skill building, so that the same pressure need not produce the same act tomorrow. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Perhaps it is cleaning what was defaced and writing a letter of amends. Perhaps it is a mediated circle where impact is voiced and a plan is signed. Perhaps it is training a new supervisor, a budget for transportation, a mentor. Perhaps it is a season of no contact joined to counseling, with check-ins that dignify rather than humiliate. Faith without works is dead. The inner realization must become a calendar, a schedule, a deed. You will know you are serving rightly when the plan secures the harmed, strengthens the one who failed, and restores the fabric between them without forcing what cannot yet be safe. Hold a garden in mind as you walk these four. We do pull weeds. We name the boundary and we remove what chokes the life. But our faith is not in the weeds we pull. Our faith is in the life of the soil. The soil is identity, Christ in you, Christ in them. Structured love is the trellis upon which that life can climb. We water with recognition, we let in the light of non-condemnation, and we add the compost of training and honest work until roots take. So is the kingdom of God. As if a man should cast seed into the ground, first the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. Do not despise the blade. When you see even a small willingness to repair, serve it. When you see the first ear, an apology not extracted but offered, nurture it. By their fruits you shall know them, and fruits come in season. See, secure, seek, serve. You can carry this into a break room, onto a sidewalk, into a board meeting. It is the same presence doing the works, and it will prove itself. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness. Meekness is not weakness. Meekness is power without the mask. Practice these movements. Feet on the ground, heart in God, and watch harm yield to wholeness as the word becomes flesh in the very place where conflict began. Let us now think not of a single moment, but of an atmosphere. One person can pause and find the inner word. A room can learn to breathe that way until it becomes the air of the house. Build rooms where no one is being judged and watch what happens. I do not mean a room where anything goes. I mean a room where identity is honored before behavior is corrected. The moment judgment ceases, something in us self-rights as a compass does when the magnet is removed. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. The name is not a sound. It is the nature non-condemning love, truth without venom, mercy, rejoicing against judgment. Gather in that nature, and conduct begins to find its line without the lash. Set your group norms plainly and keep your feet on the ground. No labels, honest facts, compassionate truth-telling, repair over blame. Say it in simple words at the start of a meeting. We will speak to restore, not to score. We will name impact without calling names. We will ask what repairs before we ask who wins. And then put a little liturgy around it, because the word must become flesh. Begin with 60 seconds of silence. Not pious, not showy, just a room going still. Be still and know that I am God. In that minute, each turns within. I, my own self, can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. You will feel the air change. Decisions made after that minute will be another kind of decision. In our classes and circles, we have watched this. Men have come in, heated voices, high breaths, sharp, some not entirely sober, and in a room where no one was being judged, they grew sober without rebuke. I have seen eyes clear just because they were beheld as persons without qualities and not as problems. We did not praise and we did not condemn. We recognized, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one. We let praise and blame both fall to the floor, and the shoulders in the room dropped with them. With that, truth could be told cleanly. Apologies surfaced that lectures had never extracted. Restitution plans appeared that penalties had not produced. This is not theory, it is fruitage. Practice rhythms that make the atmosphere dependable. At home, let the dinner table open with quiet, a breath, and a sentence of recognition. We will be kind and real. In the workplace, let the stand-up begin with the same silence and with a quick turn within before any decision that touches a person's dignity. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. Ask together. When conflict arises in the meeting, pause together. 10 seconds. Ask what restores the fabric. Then proceed. Close with gratitude. Each names one repair they witnessed, however small. In everything, give thanks. Gratitude seals the room in recognition so that tomorrow starts easier than today. Keep your measuring honest and simple. By their fruits ye shall know them. Do not measure by speeches or by slogans on the wall. Measure by fewer flare-ups, faster amends, steadier trust. You will know an atmosphere is working when tempers cool sooner, when someone wrongs another at 9, and by noon an amends is in motion without a management decree, when email threads shorten and hallway conversations lengthen, when the anxious hover dissolves because trust has lengthened its stride. You will find that consequences, when they are needed, are received as care for the whole and not as humiliation. You will find, too, that people begin to self-correct before you arrive. That is the signature self-writing in the air of non-condemnation. Let us learn to say of our rooms what we have learned to say of our persons. They are neither good nor evil. This is a kitchen table. This is a meeting room. This is a shop floor. They are neither good nor evil. The good is invisible. It is the presence that goes before you to make the crooked places straight, and we can house that presence by our norms and our pauses. Then when harm happens, and in human rooms it will, we are already positioned for restoration. We do not have to invent mercy on the spot. It is the roadway we have been walking all week. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, and let it rule in your room. See how much less you must punish when the atmosphere itself is shaping conduct. A shared field of non-judgment catalyzes change more reliably than penalties ever could. Build it, breathe it, keep it, and watch your people rise to meet it. Scripture does not argue this for us. It confirms what we have been tasting. Mercy rejoiceth against judgment. Hear that, not as softness, but as sovereignty. Mercy is not sentimental. Mercy is God's order reasserting itself where human scoring has tangled the threads. Mercy does not erase truth, it reveals it. Judgment counts the faults and keeps the ledger hot. Mercy cools the room so the truth can be spoken without poison, and repair can be chosen without humiliation. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Why should mercy rejoice against judgment? Because mercy restores identity, and when identity stands up, conduct finds its line. The good is invisible. It is the Father within. When that is recognized first, behavior follows as fruit, not as forced performance. Consider Zacchaeus. A man climbed a tree to see over his own reputation. The crowd had a name for him: thief, collaborator, traitor to his own, and they were not entirely wrong about the harm. But notice the master's sequence. Zacchaeus, make haste and come down, for today I must abide at thy house. A name, a call, a table, identity first, sonship restored before a word about money. And what is the fruit when a person without qualities is beheld? He stands straight. Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor. And if I have taken anything from any man by false accusation, I restore him fourfold. No threat, no tariff, no public shaming, recognition, birth to restitution. And the Master seals it not with a lecture, but with identity. This day is salvation come to this house, for as much as he also is a son of Abraham. Hear it. Also a son. The label fell, the lineage rose. That is justice that heals. The prodigal teaches the same current by a different shore. The boy rehearses his confession, make me as one of thy hired servants, but the father runs. No interrogation, no ledger opened on the porch. Bring forth the best robe, put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. Let us eat and be merry. Ring before lecture, belonging before reform. Why? Because belonging awakens the only reform that lasts. This my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Identity first. Behavior aligns by grace. And for the older brother, justice does not become bitterness. The father steps out again. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. That is boundary and mercy together, everyone secured, everyone called home to the same table. Lest we think this only individual, remember Jubilee. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. The 50th year was not revenge, it was reset. Land returned, debts released, laborers freed to their families, the soil itself rested. This is the Word becoming flesh as structure laws that prevent permanent exile, practices that loosen the grip of yesterday so that tomorrow can breathe. In Jubilee, the mask of debtor, the mask of exile, the mask of failure is refused the right to be permanent. A community says with God, you are not your balance sheet, return. That is restorative justice written on a calendar. And so it is that a people find Eden right here on earth, not by pretending harm did not happen, but by refusing to make harm the final author of anyone's name. And how are such moments found? Not by human cleverness. Behold, I send an angel before thee, to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. I will go before thee, and make the crooked places straight. This is why we stop short and turn within. The presence goes before. You will notice it in small providences, the right person at the right door, the word given in that same hour, the courage to say no without venom and yes without fear. In Acts, an angelic word sends Philip to a desert road, and there an Ethiopian seeks understanding. In our day, a text arrives at the moment you had asked. What restores? These are not accidents. They are confirmations. I, my own self, can do nothing. The Father within orders the step, and justice becomes harmony made visible. So read your book with this single eye. Look for the ring before the lecture, the name before the demand, the table before the tariff, the trumpet that returns lands and hearts. You will find a river running through it, mercy rejoicing against judgment, identity established, and behavior by grace taking its proper shape. Then let that word become flesh in your rooms, your policies, your hot moments. The biblical current runs restorative. When we behold as God beholds neither good nor evil in the appearance, but Christ as the life judgment ceases, mercy acts, and order, true order, stands on its feet. Let us guard against a misreading that comes quickly when we speak of non-judgment. Non-judgment is not naivete, it is clarity without hate. It does not call darkness light, it refuses to give darkness a name as identity. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Wisdom sees what is happening in plain terms. Harmlessness lets go of venom. When we say, judge not according to the appearance, we are not forbidding discernment. We are forbidding condemnation as a posture. Judge righteous judgment. To behold a person without qualities is to stop making them the mask. It is also to name the mask for what it is and to handle it cleanly. Love does not blur lines. Love brings light so that the next right step becomes evident and the room is kept safe. Therefore, safety first. Separation can be a form of love. Access is not the same as forgiveness. Forgiveness releases you from carrying the offense. Access must be earned through fruit. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The rod and the staff are boundaries. They are not blows. They are guidance and guard. The ancient cities of refuge were not sentimental. They were structural mercy that protected life while truth was sought. Doors that lock at night are not fear. They are care for the vulnerable sleeping within. So it is with our rooms. A no-contact order can be love. Supervised settings can be love. Ending a row can be love. If thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault. But if he will not hear, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. Hear not contempt, but boundary. Fellowship shifts when safety and truth are refused. We hold the line without hatred in the voice. Some ask, what of courts and policies? The law is neither good nor evil. We know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. Tools are neither good nor evil. They become trellises for restoration when oriented to repair and dignity. A court can humiliate, or a court can secure the harmed, speak the truth on the record, order restitution, and require the training or treatment that gives the failing person a chance to live differently. A policy can be a lash, or a policy can be the green pasture that stops harm now and makes room for the slow work of change. Rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil, for he is the minister of God to thee for good. When the processes of the state or of an institution are harnessed to good, to truth, to repair, to protection without shaming, they serve love's order. Keep your feet on the ground and use them that way. Care for the harmed is not optional. It is the first evidence that we have turned within. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. Bind up, listen, give agency. Do not demand reconciliation to soothe the room. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Sometimes what lieth in you is to say, not now, or at a distance. Provide support companions to meetings, time off to heal, funds for counseling, a say in what repair would mean, tell the truth without embroidery. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. We do not gag the harmed to protect a reputation. We do not parade them to make a point. We honor them as persons. Discern timing. To everything there is a season, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Some repairs require a season of faithful small deeds before a larger access is restored. Look for fruit, not flashes. Bring forth fruits meet for repentance. Fruit looks like responsibility taken without prompting, like boundaries kept without soaking. like amends offered without being scripted, like provision made for those harmed, like consistency over charm. Beware urgency cloaked as remorse, tears without trajectory, promises that skip process. By their fruits ye shall know them. More peace, steadier truth, and practical provision signal alignment. Spin, pressure, and secrecy signal that the mask is negotiating. Love-led justice holds firm boundaries while aiming every consequence toward healing. This is not contradiction. This is order. Neither do I condemn thee. The venom is absent. Go and sin no more. The boundary is clear. Let consequences be tutors, not trophies. Let distance be a pasture, not an exile. Turn within at every gate. The presence will go before you to make the crooked places straight. You will find the given steps are concrete locks, schedules, chaperones, trainings, written plans, and yet the air around them is mercy. Then you will watch, sometimes slowly, sometimes in a way you can feel at once, as conduct begins to take its proper shape, because identity has been guarded on all sides. Let us make this very simple and very near. Try seeing before fixing. For 7 days, choose one friction, not all of life, just one. A face that tightens your chest, a thread in your inbox that always runs hot, a policy tangle, a family edge. Hold it lightly and say within, this is neither good nor evil. This is a place where the word must become flesh. Name it your practice ground and let it be enough. Each morning, before you pick up your tools, sit 3 minutes in quiet. Be still and know that I am God. Breathe once or twice more slowly than you prefer. Say, not as a formula, but as truth. I, my own self, can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Offer your friction to that presence. Show me the person without qualities. Keep me in the way that I should go. Do not try to compose the day. Acknowledge Him and let Him direct your paths. You will notice a softening, sometimes only a shade, a degree or two of cool in the room of your soul. That is enough to walk out the door. In the moment itself, when the text lands, when the voice rises, when the muscle between your shoulder blades hardens, practice the smallest turn within. 10 seconds will do. Drop your shoulders, unclench the jaw, let the hands fall open under the table. Say inwardly, I, my own self, can do nothing, and wait as long as it takes for one clear sentence or one clear no sentence to appear. Often it will be very simple. Slow down, ask what would restore, name the boundary without sting. Not now. Obey the simple thing. The steps of a good man are ordered of the Lord, and you will feel a step under your foot that was not there a moment before. Then let the 4 movements find their shape without hurry. See, secure, seek, serve. See, by withdrawing judgment and beholding a person. Secure, by naming the green pasture. We will not shout. We will speak one at a time. Seek, by asking restoring questions and listening past the defense for the honesty trying to stand. Serve, by making a small, real plan. Return this by Friday. Apologize face-to-face with a witness. Set 2 weeks of assisted practice. Arrange transport. Adjust the schedule. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. You will find that thought clarifies as the deed is set, not before. Keep a small record, because the mind forgets fruitage and remembers heat. In the evening, write 3 lines without embroidery. Temperature, what cooled. Options, what new door appeared that was not there under judgment. Repair, what tie began to mend. What provision was set in motion. What honest no was spoken without venom. Note also where you slipped back into fixing without seeing, and how the room answered that. This is not a ledger of merit. This is rain gauge and wind vane. By their fruits ye shall know them. Watch for shorter quarrels, quicker amends, fewer words, steadier breath, the face across from you settling into personhood again. At the end of 7 days, gather 2 or 3 at a table, in a circle, in a team huddle, and compare notes. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Speak as craftspeople refining a tool. Where did C secure, seek, serve, flow, and where did it snag? What sentence was given you in the hot moment? What boundary brought peace without shame? In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. Let the shared stories tune your ear and strengthen your hands. You are not inventing a method. You are discovering the same presence, doing the same works in many rooms. Do not be afraid to test God in this. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts. Try it in the next conflict. Stop, turn within, behold, and then act as given. Justice heals when judgment stops and love is allowed to act. And when you see even a small fruit, a cooler tone, a creative option, a repaired line, say quietly, thank you, I will go before thee. And make the crooked places straight. We are not making straight by our strain. We are consenting to the presence that already knows the way. Let gratitude seal the practice each night. Thank you for the step under my foot. Thank you for the word in that very hour. Thank you for the person I was enabled to behold instead of the mask I wanted to fight. Then rest. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and tomorrow you will wake to the same grace, ready again to see before you fix, ready again to let love do what punishment never could. Thank you.